Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be solving another SQL problem number 570, managers with at least 5 direct reports. So we're given a table employee has 4 columns, ID, name, department, and manager ID. ID is the primary key of this table. Alright. And our task is to find managers with at least 5 direct reports. Okay, so let's take a look at the example. So employee number 100, 0, and 1. The manager ID is null, meaning John doesn't have a manager. He doesn't report directly to anyone. Dan, ID 102, manager ID is 101, which is John. So as you can see, John is the manager of Dan, James, Amy, Anne, and Ron. How many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at least 5 direct reports to John. Therefore, in the output, the name of the employee is John. John has at least 5 direct reports. So how do we go about solving this problem? To solve this problem, I will use self-join. And if you're not familiar with self-join concept in SQL, I would recommend look up self-join in SQL on the internet, and you will find many articles explaining how and when to use self-join. I have a couple of videos explaining a little bit about self-join, and if you practice many SQL problems on either Leetcode or HackerRank, you'll find like a pattern where you will see when to use which type of join to solve a SQL problem. So in this case, I will do self-join, and self-join, as its name implies, it joins a table to itself. So in this case, we're going to join employee to itself. So to use a self-join, the table must contain a column that acts as the primary key, and in this table the column is ID, and we will need another columns that store values that can't be matched up with the values in the column ID, which is manager ID. As I explained earlier, John is the manager of Dan, James, Amy, Anne, and Ron, because the manager ID matches with the employee ID that belongs to John, and John does not report to any managers. So in this step, I'm going to bring over the name of the manager over here, so you can see that for manager name, Dan will have the manager as John. James also have the same manager. Amy, Anne, and Ron also have John as the manager. So I'm gonna write that real quick for you to see what self-join does. So it's gonna be I'm going to join employee and name it employee, and join it to itself and call the second table manager. So it's gonna be, let's do select ID, name, department, manager ID, all right. So let me do this first so you can see it much better. So it's gonna be from employee, and I will call this table employee. We're gonna join with itself, which is the same table, employee, and I will call it manager. or sometimes it's hard to give a name to a table. So yeah, so man is the manager, right? On, I'm gonna join on, like I said earlier, is the employee primary key, which is ID. But this time we want to see the manager name next to this table. So it's gonna be manager ID equal to manager table dot ID. So up here, we're gonna see the ID from employee table. We're gonna see the name of the employee. We're gonna see the department from employee table, and the manager ID, we're gonna see it from employee as well. But down here, we want to see the name of the manager, so we get the name of the manager from man table, and it's gonna be the name as manager name. So if I run this, right, if I run this, as I said earlier, so Ron, Anne, Amy, James, and Dan has John as their manager. So this is John's manager ID. All right, so I hope you understand the self-join in this problem. So now we are going to solve this SQL problem. We are going to find the name of the employee that has at least 5 direct reports, like John here. All right, so I think I'm going to remove this one. Let's write another block of SQL. So I'm gonna select well, let's put name, because we want name. We don't want any other column, so it's gonna be name from employee, and I still call it employee table, and I'm gonna join with itself employee. Let me reconstruct it a little bit so it looks nicer. Employee, and I call it man is in manager. We're gonna join on, so it's gonna be employee dot ID equal to man dot manager ID. All right, so we are going to group by, because later on we have to count the number of the ID that directly report to this ID that we match to the manager ID. So we're gonna do group by employee.id having. So when we do group by, we have to use having, not where. So if you want to learn more about that, I would recommend read about group by and having. This is having here is the condition where the count of the employee, the direct report, is at least 5. So it's gonna be emp ID at least 5, so it's gonna be greater or equal to 5. All right, so in here it's gonna be employee name. Okay, so let's run this real quick. I think there is because I have this one down here. Okay, let's run this. All right, so as you can see, we have John. John is the only one that has at least 5 direct reports. Runtime 498 milliseconds, beat 75.06%. Alright, so that is it for today. I see you in another video. Thank you for watching.